Hello and welcome to the draft analysis for the Greenwich Gastrons in the Oshean League, Division 2. Start off, shout outs to the Matt Oshea for organising the league and giving us a spot. Now, the league is... Once this actually works... There we go, sorry. Right, so the league is both tiered and free, but well, sort of 3 points tiered thing. So we have got one tier 1, one tier 2, two tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5, mega, and then 4 free picks, which can be made up of 400 free points. The megas are also determined by free points. As you can see on the right hand side, that gives you the point listing. S tiers are things like our first pick, Genesect, Pheromosa, Ash Greninja, which I really don't rate at all. I have no idea why it's an S tier pick. It shouldn't even be a tier 1 pick, but that's just me. So yeah. Original plan. It was a very, very loose plan. Mostly the plan was around the first 2 picks and the 3 points. It was to get an S tier and a tier 0 mega, tier 1 mega, sorry, with a tier 3 and 2 tier 5s for the 3 points. That didn't happen. Well, the first part did, but the rest of it didn't happen. Either way, our first pick is one of my favourite things in the world, and a pick that I just love using. I picked up the Magearna. 223 points. It's 100% worth it for this little gem. So good. S tiers cannot be Z users. However, even without that, Magearna does not need it. Magearna is good enough. It means the Assault Vest sets and the Shift Gear Lefty sets and all that stuff are going to be so much more prevalent when using it, which is fine. But this thing gets so much. It's really good typing. Its ability is great. Its stat distribution is great. If only it had a little bit more speed, it would make it far too broken. Either way, I love this thing. This is the only thing that I thought 100% I want this thing. I'm 6th pick in the draft. I'm surprised I got it. 6th pick in the draft means that I'm pretty much in the middle. 16 teams. So, yes, I forgot to mention that. 16 teams, 4 divisions, 2 conferences. It's, yeah. Check out the other guys' channels for all the information on that stuff. To be honest, I don't quite understand how playoffs and stuff work, so I'm just gonna try and do my best. Anyway, second pick is the only other thing that I thought that I kind of wanted, and that is the Landorus Therian as our tier 1 pick. Well, you just need to look at it really. This thing it's so good. It's been a staple of VGC all the way through 6th gen, pretty much. Definitely through Aurus. It's an amazing pick. Intimidate is its only ability. That's fine. Really, really useful ability. Came in clutch week 1. So happy about that. Yeah, at the point of recording this, I've already played my week 1 battle, which it helps because I can get my head around some of these other picks. The ground flying is the 4 times weakness to ice, which is the only 4 times weakness that we have on the entire team, and that I am incredibly happy about. Ice is the most prevalent weakness I believe we have. However, only one 4 times weakness, which is great. Base 145 attack, which is monstrous. The base 105 special attack means that it is still good if you want to throw some hidden powers out there. The base 91 speed is, in my opinion, a little low on this thing, but it's good enough. Slap a scarf on this thing and it outspeeds a lot of stuff. It just does so much work. The other stats, it's pretty bulky, especially with the Intimidate on the physical side. This thing, I'm really, really looking forward to using it more. It's going to be so much fun. The third pick is something that I have showcased to hate in previous videos. I picked up the Toxapex. Really, really, really good wall. Generator, massive defenses. It's got Shuckle Syndrome, but it's got massive defenses, but got no HP. That really doesn't matter. It takes hits like a champ. Not only that, it has haze to get rid of setup moves, which is perfect. Again, I didn't need to use it week 1, but so handy to have the ability just to get rid of dragon dances and nasty plots and sword stances. So useful. Other two abilities other than Regenerator, a little bit useless. Interesting typing. I like the typing, quite good. It's flexible, you can make it physical or a special wall. Probably generally going to be a special wall given that our next pick. But yep. We've got Stealth Rocks from the Landers, we've got Toxic Spikes coming from this thing. So we're starting to get a few hazards. I do want more, but all in all, Toxic Spikes, really excited to use this. This next pick is what really changed the draft idea. Having to go from a guaranteed tier 1 to a tier 2 mega, because I decided to take Tangrowth as a second free pick. It is tier 2, so it is 123 points. It's relatively expensive. However, for what it is, it's so worth it. I have a pure regenerated core. The water, grass, regenerated core, these things are so bulky. Regenerator is such an annoying ability to play against, but it fits my style so well. I love stall. Those two things are going to stall things to hell. They already have. You do not want to put these two things together. If someone in your league takes Toxapex, you kind of want to take Tangrowth away from them. And obviously vice versa. Chlorophyll and Leaf Guard are, again, they are more useful. Leaf Guard is a very useful ability. Chlorophyll, not so much with base 50 speed, but the Regenerator is... the Regenerator on this thing is nuts. Really good attacking stats as well, which is, again, incredibly useful. The base 100 HP means that at max it's got 404, which means if I want to run a subset, I can, and it has 101 sub HP, which means it's not taken out by an S-DOS. Something that I remember back from the 4th gen days with Tyranitar. But it does have Sword Stance. It does have access to Sword Stance as well, which is interesting to note given its attack stat. I was going to say about that. Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Leech Seed. I think it's got Toxic, so it's got a lot of support options, which is generally what you use it for. Yeah, I love the Tangrowth after week 1. So good. So worth 120 points. I wasn't too sure during the draft, but no, I like it. Next, we skip all the way down to tier 4 for the Electivire. Pretty sure Jolteon had gone at this point, so I wanted my electric type. It's not like this is the poor man's Jolteon. This is the I didn't get Jolteon. Oh well, I can take Electivire instead because Evire is so good. Base 1, I mean, its stat distribution is just odd. They just really oddly placed some stuff, but 123 at base attack is nuts, considering the coverage that it gets. I mean, I'm pretty sure it gets Earthquake, it gets Karate Chop, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch. I mean, it gets Wild Charge, but hey, you got Thunder Punch, you're not going to use that. Yeah, it gets so much good stuff. Base 95 special attack means that if you want to slap a hidden power on this thing, because on the unlikely event that you need the hidden power, you can actually run it with a decent amount of damage. Base 85 special defense means, and base 75 HP means that assault vest sets are viable. Base 95 speed means that it is a pretty good speed tier for the slow stuff. It's a great mon. Motor Drive is an amazing ability. Vital Spirit, not so much. However, apart with the exception, in fact, no, there is no exception so far. They are all relatively slow picks. We've picked 2 tanks. We've picked Magearna, who's base 65. This thing is base 95, and Landorus, which is base 91. Okay, we have Tangrowth with Sunspore, but we need some speed control. Rabombi is one of the best speed controllers because it has access to Sticky Webs. Sticky Webs, an incredibly useful move. I had to take it this round because otherwise I thought it was going to get taken away. Galvantula had already been taken away, which is about the only other thing I'd have picked instead of the Evire. I needed the Rabombi. I have now got the Rabombi. It does only have one useful ability, really, in Shield Dust. However, that one useful ability is really useful. Shield Dust meaning that you can't get affected by the secondary effects, which means that your special attack is never going to be dropped by Moonblast. You're never going to get burnt by Scald. You're never going to get paralyzed by T-Bolt. Admittedly, you're generally never going to be switching in on those attacks, but having that ability is incredibly useful. Base 124 speed is obscenely fast, and I think is at this point the fastest speed tier I have ever drafted. Looking back, pretty much. Out of the 2 previous incredibly failed draft leagues, I'm pretty sure this is the fastest thing I've ever drafted at base 124. It's great. It has access to Quiver Dance too, and boost that even higher. It's got Psychic, it's got Bug Buzz, it's got Dazzling Gleam. Pretty sure it gets Bug Buzz. If it doesn't get Bug Buzz, it's stupid. But so it's got those 3, which generally that's all you need with the hidden power coverage. It does a lot of work. I mean, it does a lot of work. It's pretty frail, but do you really care? This thing is a great lead if you just want to set up sticky webs. As I said, speed control. I always have a problem because I draft things that tend to be more bulky and slower and, more stally. Speed control is incredibly useful for those things that are just below, like the beginner, like the Landorus, like the Evi. Next, we have something else that is pretty damn fast in the Absol, which is my Mega. It is a tier 2 Mega, so I get 43 points back. I did not get my Mega Guard, which I wanted. I also got sniped out with the Mega Pidgeot, which I also really, really wanted. However, I'm not going to complain. Mega Absol is a great pick. Relatively versatile. Base 115 special attack is nothing to be sneered at. Base 150 attack, though, however, is monstrous, and the base 115 speed is pretty damn good, especially with sticky webs on the team, meaning that the others, get brought down to the point where you can outspeed them. It does get some incredibly good coverage moves. Its ability and Magic Bounce means that, in theory, I don't need to run so much hazard removal and hazards, because I can just, if I've already Mega Evolved, I can just switch this thing in and get them bounced. It can never be put to sleep, it can never be T-Waved, it can never be Toxic. So, it's a good ability. I would prefer it if it got Super Luck, to be fair. But then again, it's just me. I like having Super Luck's a great ability. Its other pre-Mega abilities, Super Luck is obviously useless. However, the other 2 are semi-useful in Pressure and Justified. Like Pressure, if you want to keep switching the thing in and then switching it out and then switching it in and then switching it out, can be handy. But let's face it, you're never going to do that. Justified just means that when you switch in, you can get attack boost, which, yes, you can get the +1 attack boost and then Mega Evolve, especially if you're switching in on the knockoff, which is going to do absolutely nothing at this point, unless it's coming from something like a Mega Absol. Like that sort of attack stat, it's not going to be doing much. So, incredibly useful on a one like this. Then you can switch in, then you can Mega Evolve and get shenanigans going. Next up, we have the actual fastest thing that I've ever drafted, and will probably remain to be the fastest thing I've ever drafted for a while in my first tier 3 in Crobat. One actually useful ability in Infiltrator, base 130 speed, however. As you can tell by the name, I picked it for the defog. It's versatile, though. You can run it about 4 different ways. You can run it especially bulky, physically bulky, special attacker, physical attacker, with a leech life buff. It is incredibly useful. Pretty decent rounded stats. Pretty decent tier 3. Obviously, it's got access to Roost, it's got access to Cross Poison. For whatever reason, it does not have access to Night Slash, which annoys me so much. So much. You have no idea. One of its non-offensive Z moves would increase crit rate, which, if it had just got Night Slash, would have been so good. I could have run a guaranteed crit set. It would have been amazing, but I can't. It's annoying. Anyway, really, really useful pick. It is a second poison type, however, it is immune to ground. It's an extra psychic weakness. We've got Mega Absol, however, for the psychic immunity, Beginner for the psychic resist. I mean, doubling up in a couple of types here, however, the only shared weakness between, well, obviously we've got the psychic and the ice shared weaknesses, but really, spread over 3 mons. I'm actually kind of fine with that. Yeah, all I can say about that one. Next up, we have one of the picks that I am most excited to use. In my other tier 3, in Lucario. I'm most excited to use this thing because I recently found out it got Meteor Mash. I found this out after I drafted it. Kind of annoying, but it gets Meteor Mash, which is great. Annoyingly, still no longer resists Dark, so its ability in Justified is a little more risky to use. However, fighting, you still resist it, which is still incredibly useful. Again, another incredibly versatile pick with 100 base, 110 attack, and base 115 special attack. You can run it special or physical or even mixed. Again, with triple priority, it is incredibly versatile because you have Vacuum Wave, Bullet Punch, and Extreme Speed. Double Stab and Extreme Speed for the priority is insane. It gets Nasty Plot and it gets Sword Stance. Like, everything about this mon just is great. Obviously, you've got then incredibly powerful stab moves in Aura Sphere, Close Combat, Meteor Mash, and Flash Cannon. You've got coverage moves, you've got Dark Pulse. Generally, I know more about the special side, but you've got Dark Pulse, you've got Dragon Pulse, you've got Psychic. To be honest, on the physical side, you don't need anything much more than Close Combat and Meteor Mash and various priorities, but you do also have Reversal, which that is such a fun set if you can actually get it to work. If Steadfast is kind of useful if you're going up against a Lopney, then a Focus is totally useless. Justified again, really good. Yeah, Lucario, amazing one. So happy I picked that up. I snapped a few people out with that apparently. The other option in that slot was Metagross because it got Stealth Rocks. Because I have one set of Stealth Rocks and Landorus, but I really wanted a second. I wanted Landorus to not have to be my only rocker. But the way that the rest, I kind of figured out the rest of the draft, I went with Lucario. As I said, as soon as I found out that you got Meteor Mash, it's just like, yep, much better pick. The only picks we have left are tier 5s. So, delving into tier 5, we have got our Magmortar, who finishes our Fire, Water, Grass core. Decent special defense, pretty weak defense, decent enough hit points. Its 2 abilities in Flame Body and Vital Spirit. Vital Spirit, again, not that great. Flame Body, pretty decent. However, its biggest draws are its base 125 special attack and base 95 attack. This thing is going to hurt whenever you hit things with it. You can run it Assault Vest, come in, tank a hit, fire back a Fire Blast, and it's gonna hurt. Base 83 speed, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it makes it a little bit harder for those slower things to speed creep, just purely because it's not a rounded number. For instance, if it was base 80, it would be a lot easier to speed creep than, say, than the base 83 that you've got. It does also make it a little bit harder to speed creep itself, because it is that slightly weird number, but it's fine. If worse comes to worse, you can slap a scarf on it. The final pick in the draft was originally going to be Regirock. Amazing physical ball, stealth rocker, single type, no cross weaknesses really, except that thing got bloody sniped from me, didn't it? By my weak one opponent, who didn't bring it, git. Doesn't matter, I did have some backups. I had some backups in Kecleon, which I hate, Relicanth, which I hate, and Claydol. The other two, they're semi-decent for tier 5 picks, but I just hate them on principle. Was originally leaning towards the Relicanth, but then I went with the Claydol, because Claydol gets not only Stealth Rocks, but it does also get the Rapid Spin. It also gets Dual Screens. Obviously it gets Psychic, it does get Explosion, which is fun to use. Better stat distribution, to be honest, than the Kecleon. The speed and the attacking stats aren't entirely useful, nor are they entirely good. Hit point stat could be a little bit higher, but for a tier 5 pick, if you need hazard removal, it's another ground immunity. I have 3 of those. Incredibly useful. It's another electric immunity. I now have 2.5 of those. I'm counting Evi as a half. It's my only psychic type, so there's no real shared typings, apart from the ones that are weak to ice, because I now have 4. And this Rabombi's also weak to ice, which I don't think it is. I'm never great with bug types. Bug types are really, really, really weird for me. There's a couple of typings that I just can never get my head around. Bug typing is one of those. But either way, I love using Claydol. I really, really do. It is one of the very few things that I have actually used before. Pretty much everything else is new, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted a whole bunch of new things. But you kind of need to fall back on some stuff that you know before. However, one final thing that we haven't covered so far is the Z users. You're allowed 1 Z captain who can use anything, and then 2 mons that just use physical Zs. Well, I say physical, offensive Zs. I have 5 potential users. I have the Landorus Therian, I have the Crobat, I have the Lucario, the Electrovite, and the Magmortar. They are all very good Z users. To be honest, everything else is a tank. And then there's Rabombi. In the end, I decided that I was going to go with Landorus, Therian, Crobat, and Lucario. And to be honest, I'm not regretting that decision. The Z Captain itself didn't particularly matter. If I'd gone for Z Captain Crobat and it had Night Slash, then I would have gone for the 100% crit Crobat build. However, you can't do that on more than one move, which really pisses me off. I have no idea why Crobat does not get Night Slash. It would be a perfect mon to get Night Slash, unless of course I totally missed that, in which case I'm now annoyed with myself. The only other option apparently was going to be Magmortar with the Z Belly Drum, but I'm never going to run Z Belly Drum. I'd much rather run an Assault Vest Magmortar with Fire Blast. That's just me, so there's no point giving it to Magmortar. Landorus Therian, however, can really, really use the Z moves, so I'm excited to use that. Yeah, 3 pretty solid choices for those. Crobat's about the only one that I'm a bit iffy on, but I figure if I'm going to be running an offensive Crobat, it's going to need Z power behind it to get through some walls. Either way, that is the team that we have got for the Oshean League D2. Week 1 will be coming on Sunday. I have already played it, so I'll get that recording up soon. Just final shout outs to the Matt Oshea for setting up the league, running the league, and actually just generally being awesome. And then Garchomp The God, who's then doing all of the analysis and stuff. As far as I know, it's all the analysis and stuff. But I know he's doing all the videos and stuff for our division. Yeah, that's it from me, and I will see you guys on Sunday for week 1. Bye.